the wake of this incredibly embarrassing indictment that shows several online right-wing figure like that right-wing commentator you just heard, Tim Pool, that they were allegedly unwitting secret paid agents of the Russian government attempting to sabotage our election and sow discord among the American populace. Many of those right-wing personalities have become very defensive. A couple of them called it a leaked indictment, which is funny, even though it's just a public court document. Pool did at least revise his response when that was pointed out to him. The point that many of them have been making, or the defenders have been making, to the extent they are presenting any defense at all, is to say, look, I didn't know where the money was from. I was paid to say what I would have said anyway. And honestly, I believe they're telling the truth on that. All the anti-immigrant rhetoric and the vile culture war bigotry is the kind of stuff they were saying before the Russians showed up to pay them for it. It's always the way this stuff works. The most effective tactic to manipulate public opinion through foreign influence or to change laws on behalf of the wealthy interests is not to find someone who is opposed to what you want to do and then give them cash and have them renounce publicly and tell them what to say. No, instead, it's to go out and find people that are already aligned with those interests and then just subsidize the hell out of those folks by throwing money at them, by raising their profile so they can just keep doing what they were already doing. And ideally, they do it for a long time, and they're comfortable doing it. Comfortable, in this case, to the tune of $100,000 per video, which I gotta say is pretty cushy in the world of digital media. And if that whole scheme sounds kind of familiar, that is because it is basically the same arrangement set up for Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas by billionaire benefactors like Harlan Crow. According to all the reporting we have, Thomas has been given gifts, both disclosed and, more significantly, undisclosed, to the tune of $4 million over the past 20 years. At least that's how much we know about as of now, thanks to some real dogged reporting by outlets like ProPublica. You can see in this chart just how much he's been given. Can you see Thomas there? You see where he is on the chart? Oh, yeah, he's there on the left. He's the huge red bar, and that's in comparison to the other justices. And every time Thomas gets caught being gifted a yacht trip or an RV loan that was then forgiven or tuition payment for family, his defenders essentially say the very same thing that those right-wing influencers and their defenders say. Look, Clarence Thomas didn't change his mind. He's just ruling the way he would have anyway. And like those influencers, that's pretty much true. Clarence Thomas is a right-wing dude. He's a deeply conservative guy and would, at least I think in most cases and most issues, though not all, probably rule in ways favorable to Harlan Crow and his billionaire ilk, regardless. But that's not the point, is it? Right? You do not have to change his views. You just need to incentivize him to stay on the court. Offer him some gifts to continue doing what he's doing already. And the problem with all this is that not only does he get a ridiculous amount of gifts for doing what he does, his ethical compromises are extended in every direction. That includes his wife, Ginny, who is this right-wing activist, professional right-wing activist, and involved in all sorts of causes, including stuff having to do with January 6th. And in the face of efforts by Democrats to crack down on this kind of insane ethical violation, right, to reform the court, to bind it by even the most basic set of ethics that say members of Congress or every single federal employee has to abide by. In the wake of those efforts, ProPublica just unearthed new revelations about a group working to help Justice Clarence Thomas fight efforts to rein in the court. They obtained audio of the president of a religious liberty group reading an email from Thomas's wife, Ginny, profusely thanking them for fighting for Clarence Thomas's right to essentially keep accepting amazing gifts without any ethics rules.
Well, let me say one thing that's an encouragement, sure. I think, and will be an encouragement because the people on this call are our very top supporters. I got an email today from Ginny Thomas, Justice Thomas's wife. So I want to read that to you. She said, "Great to meet through the meetings today. I cannot adequately express enough appreciation for you guys pulling into reacting to the Biden effort on the Supreme Court." And then this is in all caps. "You guys have filled the sails of many judges. Can I just tell you, and this is all caps, thank you so, so, so much." So it's neat that, you know, those of you on the call are a part of protecting the future of our court, and they really appreciate it.
Our court, notice he said our court, they really appreciate it, meaning the justices, meaning not just Ginny, because she's a spokesperson for her husband in that case. These billionaires and interest groups need Justice Thomas to stay where he is and are lavishing gifts on him to ensure he will remain on the court. And it's just not that different from the Russians paying online right-wing personalities huge sum of money to keep doing what they were doing. Because at the end of the day, Clarence Thomas is just the Tim Pool of the Supreme Court.